Hey guys, so something special happened recently. This channel has hit 1,000 subscribers, and I cannot be any more grateful to you guys for that. I am absolutely blown away that we were finally able to hit this goal. So I thought, for today, we're gonna do something a little special. I put out a community post asking to see if you guys had any questions you had directed towards me. And so, I am going to go through the few questions that I was asked. And one more thing before we start, probably something worth mentioning is the fact that these questions were given to me as large enumerated lists. So the best way I found to handle this is I went through all of the questions I was given and put them in an order that made sense for me to present logically in a video, not in the order that they were asked or from who gave them to me. So credit to Awesome Ocelot, Ace Condor, Grizgo, and Dylan Hamilton for these questions. So the first question is, what made you start making videos? So, I don't know, it's something I've always wanted to do for a while. Ever since I started watching YouTube, I was like, oh, this would be fun to do. It'd be cool to like make videos like this. Of course, that was before I realized how much work they were, but it was something that I never really took action on until about summer of 2019, where I was working an internship and all of a sudden I was making a lot more money than I was used to. So I was like, you know what? Why not spend a little money, get some equipment, and start making videos? So I actually started on a different channel that I have since deleted, and I made a variety of different content. I don't think any of it was too terribly good, but it was sort of just my start to it. The second question is, what got you into video games? So that's actually a fairly interesting one. So I think everyone has a different story. For me, it was basically every weekend, every Friday actually, my mom would take me and my brother with her when she went grocery shopping, and the grocery store had basically like a little like play area where you could drop off your kids so that they wouldn't be a bother as you were going through the store. They basically had consoles. In particular, they had a GameCube, which eventually was my first console, and actually I still have it. It's over there, it's not in shot, but I have my original GameCube. What's your favorite video game of all time? This is actually something I've answered on the channel before, and if you haven't seen that video, which I don't think a whole lot of you have, it is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And actually, just give me 1 second. Don't know if you guys can see me here, but bam, I still have my original copy of it. Like, it's kind of beat up a bit. The plastic isn't that great, and it's actually torn back here. But it's the original disc. It still works. Last time I played it, though, I played it on PC just to use the HD texture pack, but yeah, I have my original copy. What draws you into RPGs? What elements make it one of your favorite genres? So that's actually an interesting thing to ask. Like, why do I like these games? I think part of it might just be that they're what I played growing up, and that could be a valid answer, but a big thing for me, especially with turn-based RPGs, is that you don't have to think as fast when you're playing them as opposed to, say, action games. Like, I enjoy playing action games. Like, I love games like Metroid, but holy shit, my tolerance for those games goes down very quickly. I am not good at thinking on the fly, and I much rather would have a game where I can sort of sit and strategize and think about what I want to do before I actually do it. If we were to get another Mystery Dungeon game, would you want an Explorers remake or a new game more? So, I would probably say I would want the Explorers remake just because Explorers' story is so good, and ever since the first Mystery Dungeon remake came out, I was like, oh my god, if they did this to Explorers of Sky, that would be amazing. But at the same time, I do kind of want to see a new game that sort of expands upon what the previous games have done. Because Super Mystery Dungeon had a lot of really interesting ideas in it. I honestly kind of liked the connection orb and thought there was a lot of cool stuff with it. You know, the level scaling was a little janky in that game, but like, there definitely is a lot of potential from Super Mystery Dungeon to sort of bring forward into a completely new entry as well. But I'd say overall, I probably would want an Explorers remake first, even though I feel like if we're gonna get a new Mystery Dungeon, I feel like a Mystery Dungeon 5 is probably the more logical thing for them to do. Do you have a dream game that you hope gets made? Mine would be a cross between Harvest Moon and Pokemon. So I have a specific game that I always wanted to have made, and that is a sequel to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. So I'm not gonna spoil how that game ends, but the way the original game ended set up a sequel so much. Like, it very much came across like it was supposed to be a trilogy, but a third game just never got made. So it's something that's really unfortunate, especially with the fact that Pokemon Battle Revolution turned out the way it did. Like, oh, do not get me wrong, I played a ton of Pokemon Battle Revolution growing up, but I definitely would have liked a much more thorough version of that game that actually had a story. So that's sort of my dream game. I've sort of, I've come up with ideas for it before. I absolutely would be down with, like, say, making a video sort of pitching my hypothetical third game in that series. Question 11, who's your favorite content creator to watch? So I feel like if you're familiar with some bigger names on YouTube and you look at sometimes the aesthetic that I try to replicate sometimes, this shouldn't come as a surprise, but probably one of my favorite creators on the platform right now is ContraPoints. Like, if you've never seen her videos, she is absolutely amazing. Like, you feel like you learn so much from her videos, and just like the aesthetic, the humor, just the quality of the writing is all really good. And so I really enjoy her stuff. In terms of like maybe some more specific like gaming creators, I've always liked Chugga Conroy. He is absolutely incredible. The level of research he does into all of his Let's Plays is phenomenal. And in cases where I have not been able to record footage for a game, I have been able to use some of his stuff to get, basically get what I need, and know going in when I borrow that footage that everything that I might possibly need from a game will be there. And that is something that I cannot say of pretty much any other content creator on the platform. What do you do outside of content creation, and what do you like to do for fun, beside video games, obviously? So, for those of you who don't know, I live sort of, in Central Florida. So one thing that I've gotten into recently is I bought annual passes to both Universal and Disney. So I've been to the parks a few times. It's a pretty good time, honestly. Like, I absolutely enjoy it. I try to not do it super often. Like, I need to obviously do it enough times to consider consider that I've gotten my money's worth off of the passes I bought. But also, like, when I go, I end up spending a ton of money. Like, I went to Epcot a couple weeks ago and I spent like $70 on food and drinks. It was not a good time. But besides that, I like to go out, have a little fun, go to bars, go to clubs on the weekends. It's a pretty damn good time. There's not much I've been doing right now specifically. There's a lot of stuff I used to do in the past that just, I haven't really been able to do since I got here. Like, I was involved in theater and music in school, and ever since I graduated college, I just haven't had the opportunity to really get back into that, even though I kind of want to. So after that, the next question is, what are some things you love to do to exercise, since you seem pretty fit, my dude? So the main thing I tend to do is I do a fair amount of strength training. So, the typical split that I've been trying to maintain has been a, push-pull legs. So basically, one day being like, chest, triceps, shoulders, and then the next day back, biceps, and then, hamstrings, quads, glutes, all of that in the third, and then one day off. And then sort of, cycle that as best I can. So that's like the main thing I do for exercise. Beyond that, I do kind of like to go for walks, especially this time of year where it's finally gotten cool enough in Florida where you can go out without just dying immediately. It's a little dark in here. I wish the sun would come back because it's getting a little dark in this shot. Should I bump the ISO up or should I keep it where it's at? You know what, screw it. We're gonna bump the ISO up a little bit. That looks pretty good. What's your favorite animal? So growing up, I've always liked dogs and whatnot, so like I've always been a dog person. So I would say probably dogs are my favorite animal. Favorite Pokemon. So my favorite Pokemon ever since as a small kid was Lucario. Other ones that I tend to really like, I really like Mimikyu. I like Gallade. I like Cyndaquil. I like what's some other ones that I like? I mean, I guess I like Oshawott quite a bit. The next question is, do you have any pets? And the answer to that question, unfortunately, is no. I don't have any pets at the moment. It's one of those things where I would probably want a dog eventually, but at the current moment, it's probably something where I don't know if I'm ready for that responsibility quite yet. Is it getting bright again? Did I change the ISO for nothing for it to just get brighter in here? Okay. First and last time I ever used natural light for a video. Jesus. This is because I didn't want to set up fully, and look where it's gotten me. Next question is, What's your favorite place in a video game? So favorite video game place. I mean, I definitely love just the worlds of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. I think it's just like, it's such a creative idea for a world, and you don't really see that many worlds that sort of, try to deviate from, like, traditional world models. Having, people living on the backs of these gigantic titans and sort of the geography being informed by the actual physiology of the titans themselves. It's a really cool concept, and I wish more games did that. And the next question is, if you could visit any places from a video game, what would they be and why? Out of any video game location that I would want to visit, the answer would probably be Isle Delfino. Like, provided the events of Sunshine are not actively happening while I'm there, like, it seems like such a really, like, just cool place to vacation at, and, like, tropical island vacation sounds fun. I would love to, maybe go on a cruise around the island, chill on the beach, stay in, a nice hotel, swim in Noki Bay. Like, that sounds like just, a really great vacation. And the last question is, do you have any video game crushes? So, here we go. So, growing up, I don't think I can't ever really say I had one that I acknowledged. There definitely were some instances of stuff that, hindsight being 2020, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So, one example was that I really like the Xenoblade Chronicles games. And when Shulk came out for Smash 4, I decided, I like Xenoblade, I'm gonna main him. But I mained a very specific skin of Shulk. And it's like, I was saying, like, oh, I'm doing it for the memes because it's funny. Yeah, that might not have been the whole picture, Yeah. No, that was not the whole picture. So in terms of present day characters that I particularly, liked or, wish were romanceable in a specific game, Fire Emblem Three Houses comes to mind. You cannot, no matter what Nintendo says, cannot convince me that Claude Regan is a straight man. Like, there is no way that character is. Other characters from Three Houses that I wish were romanceable, Caspar is another one that I particularly liked, total himbo energy. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys around. Next video is on Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia, provided I don't have to make any sort of, impromptu video of sorts. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.